Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to talk about fitting laminate flooring into doorways. Now this is something that really should be done properly, otherwise you could have problems in the long run with expansion if it's not done properly. So basically what we're talking about is undercutting the door jamb to prevent any of this laminate hitting any hard surfaces and expanding, and that's when you can get problems. What I like to use is the Milwaukee M12 oscillating saw. It's a fantastic little tool, but you know, you don't have to use something as professional as this. You can use a normal saw. You know, it would do the same job, it just might take a bit longer. Okay, so we want to be cutting this bottom bit of the door jamb out, you know, just to give us the clearance for the wood to go under and allow for expansion. You don't need to be cutting right into the actual skirting board, just the door frame. Now there is an easier way of doing this, which some people do. I'm not a big fan of it, but you can get like a scribing tool like this and basically push it up against the door frame, and this will give you an imprint of the door frame. Basically once you've got that, you can put that onto your laminate, draw around it, then cut it out and push it up against the door frame, fill it up with a bit of silicone, and job's done. But it doesn't look very nice, doesn't look very professional, and that's not really the look that we want to be going for, so I wouldn't advise it. Okay, first step, you want to be putting your underlay down first as well, just a sample, because you need the height of your underlay with a scrap piece of laminate. Get it flush up against the door frame. Now remember, you don't need to be cutting the skirting, just the door frame around the edge here, and we've got to get it in deep enough. Right, so basically keep your oscillating saw nice and flat, and just, you know, take your time over it. There's no rush to do this, so you want it to look good. Okay, so now that's done, you want to get yourself a nice fine chisel, make sure it's sharp, and start chiseling out the bottom of the door frame, being very careful. You don't want to cause any damage by overcutting it. Okay, now that's done, get your underlay sample, offer your laminate up to your door frame, make sure you've got enough clearance, and hopefully you have. Now you want to get your spacers. I use these that I got from Amazon. I think they're £12 for 4 of them. Fantastic. You can adjust them in case you've got an uneven gap running down the side of the skirting. You can adjust it. It's fantastic. Now once you've got that in place, make sure your adjustments on your spacers are correct. Then you can start marking out your door frame. Now I like to start off with the door frame edge. I like to point out that this isn't actually a permanent marker, this is a whiteboard marker. Fantastic, because you can rub it out afterwards. You can either use this or a pencil, but don't use a permanent marker. Okay, so once you've done the door frame edge, you want to get onto the edge of the skirting as well, mark that point there. Now what you've got to bear in mind is that you do actually need to leave an 8mm gap down at this part of the skirting, so take that in consideration when you're doing your measurements. Okay, so you want to mark where your laminate's going to end, and basically you need to add your 8mm to the length that you're going to measure from. So I'm going to measure from here. As you can see, I've allowed the 8mm, mark that up on there, transfer that onto the laminate, and I know that's going to be my main cutting point. Alright, so transfer that onto the laminate all the way down to where the skirting bit ends. Cut that across there like that. Okay, so obviously we don't want this going right into the door frame and touching the door frame, so allow a little bit of a gap. That's going to give you the expansion, and just obviously you can cut this a few times, so don't worry about cutting, you know, getting it dead right first time. cut it a little bit bigger than you need, then you can always take a little bit more out and offer it up and then try again. Keep going until you get it dead right. So let's have a go at cutting this now. Right, well, now that's done, hopefully you've still got all your fingers left. Well, what you want to be doing is offering your laminate up to your door frame. Now don't forget, when you do this part, get your spacers in there, make sure you've got your expansion gap round the side, and also don't forget the little bit of skirting at the front near the door frame. You need that gap there as well, so get your spacer in there. Then check everything looks okay, nothing's showing. You don't want little gaps in the door frame where you can see where the laminate's been cut or anything like that. Main thing to do is obviously get yourself your sample of underlay, get that underneath and check the height to make sure it's raised up enough and you ain't got no binding with the door frame, because this laminate will expand. It's designed to expand and shrink, and you want that to be able to move quite clearly without any obstructions. So that looks good to me, I'm happy with that. There's plenty of expansion room, it moves fine. I've got my expansion gap. So yeah, I mean, next thing to do is just carry on fitting your laminate, keep your expansions in the right place and just check it all the time to make sure you're happy with it. Okay, and that's the final sort of product before the beading goes down. As you can see, nice clearance, you've got plenty of expansion around the edge, plenty enough, and that's it. So all you've got to do now is put your door bar across here, depending on whether you're going transitioning from laminate to laminate or laminate to vinyl or laminate to carpet. You particularly use the bar for that. Okay, so that's basically it. Nice clean finish, what you want to see. It looks professional, it would do the job. And the next thing you've got to do is do the scotia going around the edge to cover up these expansion joints. This is a video I'll be bringing out next, show you how I do it and finish it off around this door frame. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you guys in some way, or at least entertaining, and I hope it gives you a little bit of courage to do this yourself. Alright.